From the fastest man in the world, Usain Bolt switching over to soccer, to Michael Jordan pursuing a career in baseball instead. Here are famous athletes who've switched sports. Let's kick things off with Bolt's soccer career, which didn't last as long as he'd hoped for. In 2011, the track and field star said that he wanted to play soccer professionally for his favorite team, Manchester United. He even put up a video on social media showing off some of his skills, hoping to get a call for a trial, but the then manager of United, Sir Alex, wasn't interested in the idea at all. His dream of playing for United ended as quickly as it began. Poor Bolt. But the spark to become a soccer player reignited in him once again in 2018. That's when Usain landed in Gosford to try out for an Australian soccer club, the Central Coast Mariners. But sadly, he couldn't reach an agreement with them either. Bolt left the team after just 8 weeks. In the end, I guess he realized that soccer isn't just about being fast. Amazingly though, the media coverage for his trial generated a staggering $22 million. The next athlete, well, she didn't switch sports just because she wanted to. Marion Jones was banned from track and field because of wrongdoing. She was one of the most well-known athletes in the world, but it all ended when she got caught up in the Balco scandal. The athlete admitted to using steroids, and her 3 gold and 2 bronze medals from the 2000 Sydney Olympics were taken away. Oops, Jones was even sent to prison and banned from track and field sports. So one day she woke up and chose to play in the WNBA, but it wasn't a memorable career. The athlete did play some basketball in her college. She was pretty good at it too, but going pro isn't an easy gig and she realized it pretty quickly. Marion lasted in the WNBA for just 1 year. She isn't the only one who was banned from track and field. Dwayne Chambers was too. He was once the fastest European, but Chambers got into trouble and had to look somewhere else for a job. It was sad to see someone like him getting banned. His stats speak volumes about what kind of an athlete he was. Dwayne has the European record for 60 meters, which is 6.42 seconds. He's also the 4th fastest European ever over 100 meters. He did it in just 9.97 seconds. In 2003, though, the athlete was caught up in a doping scandal, got himself banned from running for 2 years, and from the Olympics and Commonwealth Games for life. He then tried to join NFL Europe and the Rugby League, but failed both times. Unlike the next athlete, who's still doing pretty well in his new sport, I'm talking about the former Chelsea star, Petr Cech. Yeah, he's the same guy who suffered a horrendous head injury in 2006. That's when he started wearing a rugby-style headguard and became famous for it. He's currently playing semi-professional ice hockey for Chelmsford Chieftains, and he's pretty good at it too. It's not surprising at all though, cause he's playing as a goaltender there as well. And soccer fans know what kind of beast he was when it came to guarding the goal. Cech retired from professional soccer with over 600 appearances to his name. His decision to pursue a career in ice hockey raised many eyebrows. Plus, he didn't even wait too long for it. Immediately after retiring in 2019, he started his ice hockey career in the same year. It seems like Peter already had a plan in his mind about what he was going to do next. In this case, it was Peter who suffered a head injury, but the next athlete I want to talk about is famous for giving others these kind of injuries. It's Brock Lesnar. The Beast is best known for his work in WWE and also for throwing away wrestlers like they're nothing. This dude's a maniac. But he kinda got tired of life inside the ring and decided to switch over to football and the open field. It was a huge shock for wrestling and football fans to hear that the strong-arm guy wanted a career in this sport since he'd never played football at a competitive level. Heck, he didn't even play soccer in high school or college. Still though, in 2004, the Minnesota Vikings were kind enough to give him an opportunity, at which he failed miserably. His football career only lasted 1 preseason, but even in this short period of time, he got into many fights and got hurt as well. Plus, it was clear that he didn't have the skill set to compete in the NFL. His football career was over before it even began properly. Speaking of the NFL, the next athlete had a pretty good time in the league, but a switch didn't end pretty well for Jerry Rice. Not much can be said about his time in the NFL though, cause it was special. He's one of the best NFL players of all time and is widely considered the greatest wide receiver in NFL history. The 3-time Super Bowl winner holds the record for most receptions, touchdown receptions, and yards for a wide receiver. So, no one can really question his legacy there, but what can be questioned are his skills as a golfer. I don't want to be mean, but they were horrible. Before Jerry quit football in 2005, he played golf for more than 20 years. In 2010, he tried his luck as a golfer by taking part in the French Express Classic. He finished 17 shots over par, which put him in 151st place, out of 152. Rice was just one shot ahead of the last-placed athlete. I mean, what can I say? By the way, ever heard of bobsledding? That's what Chris Chelios switched to. It's easily the strangest sport that an athlete on this list switched to. Chelios played in the NHL for a long time. How long? More than any other player in history. But in 2004, during the NHL lockout, his mind clicked. He decided to train with the U.S. Bobsled Federation in hopes of competing for the Greek team at the 2006 Winter Olympics in Turin. Chris joined the team in the end, but they weren't able to make it to the finals. Chelios did go to the Winter Olympics in 2006, not for the sport he wanted to. Instead, he played ice hockey and was named the captain of the U.S. national team as well. Overall, it turned out to be good for him. It would have been great to see him in the bobsled competition, though. Just imagine Chris bobsledding at the Olympics. Crazy! What's even crazier is watching one of the greatest soccer players playing tennis. Yes, Paolo Maldini chose tennis out of all the sports in the world. The Italian was a sensation whenever he stepped foot onto a soccer field. He's widely considered to be one of the greatest defenders in the history of the game. But after retiring from soccer, he set his sights on an ATP trophy, which didn't turn out how he imagined it to. He did manage to grab himself a spot in the ATP Challenger Tour event. Amazing, right? What wasn't amazing was his professional debut in 2007. Maldini was beaten in just 41 minutes, but what else do you expect when you only train once a week? Yes, he only trained once a week at the Harbor Club Milano. You can't win matches like that. The next athlete didn't switch one, she switched two sports. It's the former world tennis #1, Ash Barty. She took a hiatus from tennis to play for a cricket team, Brisbane Heat. Now, that's an interesting switch. Not a lot of athletes switch from tennis to cricket. Barty came back to tennis once again in 2016, played for a few years, and announced her retirement in 2022. She then decided to swap her racket for a golf club. It proved to be an amazing switch for her. Ash won the Ladies Golf Championship in 2022, just weeks after announcing her retirement from tennis, which was a big shock, by the way. But who's the most famous athlete who switched sports? King Jordan's the one. Michael was the greatest basketballer on planet Earth when he left the NBA in 1994. He left the sport that he used to be the best at to be the best at another sport, minor league baseball. Jordan made this decision in 1993 when he quit basketball for the first time. The reason he made the switch was very special though. He said that his father, who died in the same year, always wanted him to play baseball. All he was doing was fulfilling his father's dream. That dream didn't last too long though. Only a year later, Michael came back to the NBA in 1995. His time as a baseball player wasn't too bad. He did pretty well considering he was a beginner in the sport. Still, a lot of people believe that he didn't do too well, which is completely unfair. So, there you have it. From Michael Jordan's switch to basketball to Usain Bolt trying out a career in soccer, these were the famous athletes that have switched sports.